We got this 2006 Pontiac Vibe. We have an issue where the oil drain plug was actually stripped out, or that's at least what the mechanic said. So what we're going to do is, we got it already jacked up around the ramps, and we're going to slide under there, remove the oil, and see what kind of a mess we have with that oil drain plug. Right now there's just a temp plug in there, so we'll drain it and we'll catch up there. So now with the oil out of the oil pan, we're going to go ahead and slide under here and see all the bolts that we have to deal with here. So good reference point is this oil filter. So starting with the oil filter, we got a bolt here, there, all the way around. You can see them all. Most of them are very easy to get to, which is very nice, but you got some under this cross member here. And those ones are going to be a little bit tougher to get to. We have a swivel socket that we're going to use to hopefully fish up in there and take them loose. And we'll take the oil pan out, but we're going to start breaking those bolts loose right now. So we're having a little bit of issues with the two bolts that are tucked in underneath this brace bar. So we're going to go ahead and remove this brace bar. We got a couple bolts here, a couple bolts inside here that go to the engine or transmission mount, one of the two. And then a couple bolts down here that connect it. We're just going to try to like loosen both of those or loosen one of those or whatever and just try to shimmy it out of the way. But we're going to have to get this out of the way in some fashion. So we're going to do that. Alright, so after we're all done with the removing this, we took out two bolts here. Two bolts, one inside this hole, one inside this hole that go to the transmission mount. Right here. Down on this end, we removed two nuts, one here, one there, and then inside this one as well, there's actually another bolt as well. So you got three bolts down here. I'd take them all loose or off and give you a little bit of room. Now I can grab this guy and move it any way I want to, manipulate it because of the rubber bushings on the transmission mount will let me move it as much as I can. And now it'll be a lot easier to get to that bolt and that bolt. We'll go ahead and remove these bolts on the pan and get this pan off. So we took the oil pan off. We got all the bolts out, and then we used a small screwdriver to pry apart the oil pan from the engine. One thing I would recommend actually, which helped us a lot, because you can see we're not really dripping any oil, that we had the car running beforehand. And that really helped because it made the viscosity on the oil very thin, and it all came out with the oil. So we're not making hardly any mess. But while we're under here, we're just going to clean up this engine a little bit to make sure that the gasket will seat well. I'll show you the new oil pan and the new gasket. I believe the new gasket's a cork gasket. So we'll go look at that right now. So here's a look at the new gasket. As I said, it's cork. You gotta be careful with these so they don't fall apart as you're putting them on. This is the new oil pan right here. Got it from AutoZone. I think we paid about 60 bucks and about I think $10 for the gasket. So we're gonna go ahead and get this mocked up under there and put a couple bolts in. Get this oil pan back on the car. Alright, so we put the new oil pan back on. All the bolts are finger tight right now. Start them all with your fingers because you do not want to cross thread them or over torque them. With the over torquing part, I do not know the torque specifications for this, so you can Google it. I'm going to go to tight and go from there. But if you're willing to look up the Google or the torque specifications, please do that. Alright, with the oil pan back on and all the bolts snugged down, we went ahead and put the brace bar back together, put all four of these bolts back in, put the other four bolts back in back there, or three bolts, sorry. And now we're going to come on top. And we were able to salvage the old oil. Your choice if you would like to re-salvage it. If you need an oil change, just go and change it. But we just did this oil. and we're just going to reuse this. So we're going to top off the oil with the existing oil, and make sure it's full. Once it's full, we'll check the dipstick, and we're good to go. All right, we went ahead and dropped it on down. We got the Vibe running again. Looking underneath here, validating nothing is leaking. Nothing is leaking, or no new stains on the ground. So this is a job well done. Please like and subscribe to this video and my channel if you'd like to see more, or leave a comment in the comment section if you'd like to see another fix on another vehicle. Thanks.